Welcome, everybody. Big news literally just dropped a few minutes ago. We have Tyreek Hill news for anybody who didn't hear. Thank you for showing up, Anthony and Aaron Sandy. Appreciate it. Tyreek Hill currently being investigated for domestic violence. I think it is. Let me find it. It's hey, welcome, Victor. Bad news for your Dolphins. Yeah, here we go. Just in, police responded to an assault in progress involving Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill. So, Jalen Waddle to the moon, right? Like, I mean, it will make them, like, if he's trying to force his way out, I mean, like, it was kind of funny because yesterday, Jacob Sanderson said, thank you for showing up, Scott. Jacob Sanderson, like, randomly said, he's trying to force his way off the team, and he mentioned jail as an option, and then this happens the next day. That is pretty amazing. Hey, thank you for showing up, Bindles. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm probably going to be moving every Dolphin up. I'm glad I have around 8% Malik Washington already because that feels like a really good spot. Before we get to draft, I'm going to go over my truth serum on Damian Martinez. He's my most drafted player by far. And I'll kind of go over why I think that and tell you just how crazy I am. Um, so these are his measurables. There's nothing really big to see here. He was 69% 10-yard split, 84% in the broad jump. That's perfectly fine. I really liked what I seen from him on film, though. This is the PFF page. He's had 3 years in college, 1,000 yards basically every year, over 6 yards a carry every single year. That is really, really good. He does really well in both styles, in zone and gap. And his yards after contact are really solid. Nobody talks about it, but his elusiveness rating is actually uh, fifth, or it's seventh in the class in this year. So it'll be hard to read, but these are all the elusiveness ratings. I can't really sort it that way because of what's down here, but he is number 7 in the class with his size and speed and how he runs with power. He actually runs incredibly well. He has really good vision. He has patience. Like, uh, and if you watch the Josh and Hayden video, Josh Norris pointed out a couple things. So he had 18 of 94 runs this year went for 10 yards or more. That's 19% of his runs went for 10 plus yards. That is awesome. Like, for a back his size and somebody who runs with that kind of power, that is awesome. Thank you for showing up, Hartman. And he had 0.26 missed tackles forced per rush attempt. So 1 out of every 4 rushes, he forced somebody to miss a tackle. Yeah, but with his elusiveness rating, yards after contact, he bounces off of people. I think he's going to be a bulldozer, and I think he's definitely going to be at least what David Montgomery is, with upside way up there. And the truth serum part is I'm having a really hard, like, I'm not big on Caleb Johnson, and I know he's going to get more draft capital, but in my heart of hearts, I personally like Martinez more as a prospect than Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson, is he's going to require an outside zone scheme to work. So if he gets that, he's absolutely worth more in these kind of drafts than Martinez. Like, I am not going to, like, I'm not completely fading him because of that. Like, if he lands with the Ravens and they end up splitting time, like, he's going to be a smash. Like, in a scheme like that, like the Vikings would be the absolute nut outcome for Caleb Johnson. But anyway, that is my take on him. Let me know if you think I'm nuts, if you think I'm not, if you agree, whatever. I'm willing to listen to everything. I'm here also to learn. So, anyway, in about 10 seconds, I will be entering a big board. Hard to be in on Caleb. Seemed like such a scheme merchant. Not only that, on Caleb, if you watched his, like, yes, he had just as many, um, like, his total yards was like the same as the amount of passing yards I think that offense had. Something crazy like that last year. 7 more to start. If anybody wants to get in, there's plenty of room. But watching that offense was really bad, but their offensive line was really good, right? So, um, if like you've seen the defenses play up close, and almost all of the breakaway runs that I personally seen from him, it was because the linebackers were up near the line of scrimmage and they got lost in the shuffle, and there wasn't really anybody to run with him. And maybe I'm seeing it wrong. Maybe I didn't watch enough. I was only able to find like one full game's worth of stuff and a couple highlights, like 3 highlight reels that I watched. So maybe I'm missing it. Uh, I don't have an all 22 access for it or anything, so it's really hard to be fully in. But yeah, that's my take on Caleb Johnson as well. Uh, and it's if he gets the right fit, he could absolutely smash. But I think Damian Martinez is pretty much like proof of no matter where Damian Martinez ends up going, he is he's going to be good in short yardage situations, and he's going to be a first, second down back, worst case scenario. The biggest knock on Martinez is he doesn't have good hands. Well, last year he had 21 targets and 17 receptions. He had 2 drops on the 17, and he doesn't look completely clean when he catches the ball, but he still catches the ball most of the time. And the biggest knock on him is his pass protection. And if you watch him in pass protection, he doesn't anchor down good enough. And that's something like he has the size and he always at least stands in front of the people, but he's always off balance when he goes to block and he gets ran over. That's something I believe is fixable. So, I mean, Chase Brown kind of did the same thing, and he's not a great pass blocker by any means, but he's fine now, right? Speaking of Chase Brown, we're still waiting on 4 for the big board. Uh, Currently today, the Bengals are hosting Quinshon Judkins, which I think would be a fantastic fit. I so this file was from January. I've I have I've just kind of like moved some stuff over. Uh, Initially, I didn't really like Jaden Blue's stuff, but whenever I went back and watched it a second time, I was into it a little more. I and there's a couple players that we'll go back to this that I waited until I've heard that the NFL was going to be kind of in on them before I really watched them. Like if if they were ranked on PFF under like 150, I watched half of those and then I didn't watch the other half. Like the half of them that people that I listened to liked, I watched them. But then as Jaden Blue has been getting more buzz, I went and watched him again and I actually paid more attention. And I do like him a little more. I just like this is more than what I liked him before. This is my actual rankings at the moment. He does have a bunch of upside. I still don't think he's going to end up with round three capital, and that matters a lot to me. Uh, and Trevor Etienne's the same thing. I was hearing that he wasn't going to go to like the sixth round back in like early February, so I didn't really pay much attention to him. Whenever I went back a couple weeks ago and actually watched him, a bunch of him, and I really like him. Like your issue with Blue is field owned so much higher than like five running backs with a similar range of outcomes. Yes, yeah, I get that. Yeah, because like him, Rocket Sanders, Taj Brooks, uh, even like they're all kind of the same. LaQuint Allen, I have him higher than the rest, a lot of the other ones, because he is going to have a role because he's such a good pass blocker. Yeah, and that's fair. That is very fair. And I'm not drafting much Tootin at his current price. Like, I took him earlier today. I got a share at 150 on DK, but I'm not taking him in the 130s. Yeah, right. Correct. Because uh yeah, yeah, exactly. So, draft is about to start. I pulled the 102. Aaron Sandy is in the 8 hole. Stroop, I think that's is that Steve? That might be Steve. Jordan James, I I don't know. I have him low, but I do have quite a bit of him because I'm willing to admit that I'm wrong on some things, right? We'll go ahead and take JJ at 2. But so Jordan James is one of those players that I'm willing to say I'm wrong on. One reason I'm willing to say I'm wrong on is because last year I wasn't in on Bucky Irving as much, but I ended up with a bag of him. Like I think I had like 12, 13%. Not like an insane amount, but quite a bit of him during the BBM season because everyone liked him. And it was such a low cost with a reasonable case for him to have a role that it made sense. If Jordan James goes to a role like that, I'm in. Uh, but I think that I don't evaluate that offense well enough. So I didn't really I didn't think Bucky looked like he was as good of a runner as he apparently is in that offense. So I could absolutely be wrong on him. I don't love him, but I do have I think I have 8 to 10% on Jordan James. Like he's definitely worth a flyer there at the end. Uh, the the veterans, I like Marshawn Lloyd a little bit, but for the most part, taking the running back darts make more sense to me. Yeah. Um, well, I mean, look at the wide receivers. Tez Johnson's hard. Like Troy Franklin was pretty hard for people to evaluate. Everybody was wrong on Bo Nix. Like, and I can say it now, but like, uh, I didn't have a channel. I didn't put my stuff out there before, but I personally was a Bo Nix slappy last year. Like, I ended up with like 20% of them in big board, and like, I don't remember what I was in the main, but I was definitely overweight. I personally like felt like he was by far the best quarterback last year. Of the rookies to definitely work. Like, yes, Jaden had the biggest upside. I was pretty out on Caleb Williams for the most part because I didn't think that offensive line was good enough to work out, and I didn't think that, and that offensive coordinator, like how could you ever trust him? What was his name? I can't remember his name. Um, a quarterback I like this year, definitely not worth drafting in these styles of tournaments. But like if you're in like a deep dynasty league, I kind of like Will Howard as a third or fourth round rookie pick in like a dynasty setup. That's pretty uncommon. That's what I have though. I I'm curious to see where Tyreek Hill goes with the news that just broke. I don't get to JSN a lot. I only have 4% DJ Moore with JJ, so I'm gonna pull up DJ Moore, get some divisional correlation, start JJ, T Higgins, and DJ Moore. And I don't feel near as confident on the Will Howard possibility as I did with Bo Nix. Like Bo Nix, like his efficiency was absolutely nuts. He always to me threw the ball better deep than people wanted to admit. Uh, I don't know what to think on Jalen Milrow either. Like he's either the best pick or the worst pick, right? Like he is he there is no in between. Kind of like Anthony Richardson, but cheaper, right? Like when Anthony Richardson came out of college. I don't really see. Seems pretty normal here for the most part. Where did Tyreek went the pick after? I'm curious if that guy knows that he may be getting arrested right now. But yeah, the quarterbacks this year aren't near as good. No, no, he cannot. I mean, there must be something in the water in Kansas City, right? Tyreek had the issues before. He leaves. Rasheed Rice does his thing last year. And then because nobody ever learns, Xavier Worthy done like his thing was dismissed. But yeah, like and who knows what actually happened with the Worthy scare, but that all got dismissed. There's still a chance that the Tyreek thing that it all gets dismissed and everything. So who knows? Whenever it comes to the family stuff, you never know. Think it's already being reported that the Hill incident is a closed investigation, no crime. Okay, yeah, I hadn't got to that yet. That might have came out as I started streaming, and I think it was Terrence Charles. I think that's how you pronounce his name in Liam's stream when the it was either in Liam or Best Ball Guys, but he's actually a criminal defense lawyer. And the day that the Xavier Worthy stuff come out, he said that most likely that's just going to get swept under the rug because all that stuff ends up getting closed up real fast. Follow up is 15. Okay. He what? That's I'm not going to read that out loud, but that's just because I don't want to get accused of reporting something that's fake. But that is quite the reaction to a situation. Couldn't find something smaller, you know? I've not thrown a laptop, but in my youth, I broke plenty of controllers. I was 100% versus the SNES controller. I would love to get Devontae Smith and wrap back around with Jalen Hurts here. That guy has the same, like, that's a fantastic pick there. Um, this draft room is drafting very well. I don't really like a whole lot of the picks in this area. I'm going to take a low owned share of DK Metcalf here. I think, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then if Burrow, I'm not going to take Burrow there. Coming back around. That's a really, really good value on Lamar Jackson. Thank you. Left a trail of PS2 controllers in your wake. Yeah, I think we all did something like that, right? Man, I really want to take Jalen Hurts because just because. But I'm going to go ahead and just take my fifth receiver. I've not done a ton of zero running back this year. I really like the early running backs this year, but this feels really good. Through five, Justin Jefferson with Addison, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, DK Metcalf. You're welcome, RK. Yeah, like, and if I take Naked Hurts, like, that guy's very likely to just snipe any of my quarterbacks that are left, right? Or, well, not I'm not gonna say very likely, but more likely. I I've heard a little bit that Kirk Cousins may end up getting moved to the Browns draft day. I've not seen reports on it, but I've heard a couple people talk about it. It would make a lot of sense if that were to happen. Same with Brees Hall getting moved. If it happens, it'll probably happen on draft day. I want to say thanks to everybody who is here. I have 7 viewers and 9 likes. That's amazing. We'll go ahead and close this poll out. How much is too much, Damian Martinez? 50%. 4 people say 50 or 15%. 2 people agree with me that there is no limit, and 2 people agree that 30% is too much. And so 6 of you think I'm a total slappy, and you are probably correct. Bound to be some trades, and if we're hearing things, it's probably somewhat true. Uh, right? Yeah, for sure. And welcome to the stream, Candyman. Got can any is anybody else actually into Sam Laporta? Sam Laporta is a player that I haven't really been able to get myself on very often, and I have a hard time thinking that he's 2 full rounds better than TJ Hawkinson. And also, like, on top of that, it it kind of limits stacking as well because there's so many people that want to stack Goff. Mixing in Laporta if you took ASB or JMO and double stack with Goff. I did that once or twice. You love Laporta as a player, but he's too expensive. Laporta went to a high school like an hour away from where I live. You barely have him as a standalone tight end. I think I have like 2%, and it's not a fade that I love. Like, I don't feel great about it, you know? All right, so I probably want Montgomery here. Like, I'll take whichever running back is available, but I probably want Demont because I'm doing the NFC North thing right now. Look, I gave that. That's what I get for playing nice. I should have taken Jalen Hurts. I wonder how many people see stuff like that and have a notepad next to their computer, write the names down, and they have like an entire file, like 7,000 names of people that they're going to snipe and get back later. You have a list? Okay. I've thought about the list. I've never did the list. I think this would be a good team to bring in one of these rookies. I think full zero RB or zero RB here. The one Connor share, 6 wide receivers, nothing else. I think this kind of feels like what I want to do right now. I uh I had a list like that when I played video games. It felt, I don't know, maybe I'm just a little older, but like uh maybe I'm a little more mature now, but like when I play video games, it felt pretty vindicating to like target people and people who made your life bad make their life bad. But in this, like, money's on the line. Like, I'm just gonna do what's best for my team always, almost always, basically. The list reminds you of Steve Buscemi and Billy Madison. Man, Steve Buscemi is awesome. Like, he's one of those that kind of like Billy Bob Thornton, hard not to like him. You're glad you called that guy. Yeah, yeah, that man, I that's such a great movie. Let's see what happened here. Aaron Sandy has the Xavier Worthy stack. Najee Harris at 65. Chase Brown. Very solid team here. Probably hoping a certain guys there at 89. What so what I didn't go over with Martinez is my top landing spots with him. And yesterday I said, because I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about it because it ended yesterday talking about Martinez. Uh, but I said Pittsburgh and Cincy yesterday. I I think that makes a lot of sense. Davis Maddock earlier said something I hadn't even thought about, and that is the Giants. Like, if Martinez goes early fourth round to the Giants with Tyrone Tracy, like as a 1-2 to be the first and second down back, with Tracy being the third down back, that would be amazing. Like, that would be an awesome fit. And And then there's the 6 or 7 teams that no matter what running back it is an absolute smash. Thanks for showing up, Tyler, aka Emo Cowboy. What you did something that like kind of bothered Liam earlier. I can't remember what it was in that stream. Giants have a huge need at running back given Tracy's age, receiving guy, and someone that they subbed out plenty. Yes, they did. And I don't know why that like never entered my mind for a good landing spot. I and what Sacrilegious said a couple days ago about he's heard that Dallas is like if they don't get Genty, they he is the guy they want. I don't know if that's information that's true or anything like that, but that would be fantastic. All right, so at this point in the draft, I don't love anything. I think with the Tyreek news, I think I'm going to just pull up Janu. Yeah, I think I'm going to pull up Janu. Caleb Johnson went. So don't have a stack there. Don't have a stack there. Cannot stack Golden. So I need another out here, right? So I needed to take him. I really don't want Ramondre Stevenson. So we're just going to pull Cam Scatabo all the way up. I I don't believe Ramondre makes it past like week 7 this year. At some point they're going to draft a running back and or Ramondre is going to fumble his way out of his job. Liam is constantly bothered by you apparently. I assume it's up saying I was annoyed by them taking. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. No, like I don't know what it was. I just I was cooking when I was listening to that. So need to bring the board back up. Sorry guys. I was kind of looking at my options. I probably like I could have probably just taken Kyler Murray at 98. Uh I think it was I think it might have been Tyler retweeting something, but it was Kyler Murray's going to run more this year. God forbid I just vent in chat because I got caught up in a stream draft on accident. Oh. Oh, thank you. I don't know if I am. I just kind of do my own thing and kind of chill. I did have Victor Koch who he doesn't talk much, but it's a buddy of mine. He helped me out like all of the very early videos. It was just me and him talking. Like and it was mostly me just setting things up and trying to learn how to get some flow. So, shout out to him. I appreciate him helping me out with that. Okay, yeah. Now I thought it was you. Kyler, like in the interview, said I need to run more. So because it unlocks a lot more of the offense. He's like, yeah, I have Connor, but James behind me, and Trey, but adding me into that mix will make our whole offense better. You know, rushing efficiency stuff with running quarterbacks. Check out his new news info. Whose new info? Kyler? Oh, there we go. Yep, it's right here. 23 minutes ago. I don't know. So, do you guys think I was a little a little nuts to pull Cam Scatabo up above Ramondre. I just I can't get on board with Ramondre. I know Gritty would be ashamed of me right now. Thoughtful, engage in chat, talk through process, etc. Oh, I much appreciated. I yeah, I'm doing it mostly just to hang out, right? Like I'm not saying I'm good at drafting, but I am good at like I want to be good at engaging with people, and based on things I've been told, I have a knack for it. Zach Charbonnet here, all the way back, is an absolute gift, or Brian Robinson. Both of them are absolute gifts on this team. I think I'm going to take the better offense, though, and hope that they get a pass catching back. And as long as I don't get stream sniped here, I'm going to go ahead and just bite the bullet, pull JJ McCarthy all the way up. And Jordan Mason might have been the right call, actually. Welcome, Hulk. I have no quarterback. I don't have a lot of stacking options left. I absolutely require him. I just have to make the bad pick, pull him all the way up. Make up for it with Jordan Mason. I I would have actually taken Jordan Mason if Charbonnet and Robinson were not there. Yeah, I that's where I'm at on it. Not into the patch running back situation at all. I could have, and I absolutely failed. And you punished me for it. I give you a stream. I even let you in my draft, and then you punish me. I can't believe it. Can't believe you, Aaron. I I am absolutely worried about B Rob at his price. Like I had a bunch of them early, and I've kind of got out on them. And there are a lot more running backs in this draft class that fit his profile versus Eckler's profile. So yeah, I'm absolutely worried about it, but I'm still going to take at least some of him. And like I'm worried about Brian Robinson's price and getting replaced, and I'm worried about Zach Charbonnet's offensive line. Didn't mention any of the running backs by name this week when talking about explosive and pass catching at running back. Who is that? Who are you talking about? Stevenson is meh. Risking losing the job when it matters. Yep. Pats also might be bad still. Line is. I'm personally not into Josh McDaniels, Vrabel. Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, the Washington GM said that. I missed that. I still need to get in and like I love Coach Beach Index. I didn't realize that he had a Discord. I looked a little bit into that. I need to go to one of his videos and go set that up for sure because I really enjoy that stuff. I don't believe 100% of what the coaches say, but it is nice to hear what some of them say. Yeah, that offensive line is an absolute mess. Right. Absolutely. And not only is it's not like it's not even about the money there. Like that's such a low value like cost for help like to get to help the guy out that puts out content that I love, right? Like and if anybody doesn't know about Coach Beach Index, you should go check him out. His videos are really good. All right, need to look at what I need to do. Running backs kind of look like they're drying up. Tua went. That I kind of wanted Tua there. I might have to look. I'm going to go ahead and take. Man. I'm going to go ahead and just smash Bryce Young here. He has a little bit of rushing upside. Uh, I think most of his wide receivers were available still. Yeah. And I could also stack him with Rico Dowdle if I want. There's plenty of guys to be bullshitting as well. And for the guys who are accurate, it's valuable. Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm just going to end here with Adam Thielen with 7 wide receivers, be completely done at wide receiver. Actually get a stack there. That my running backs will be weak, but I'm probably going to go 7 running backs here. And I might add another. If I can find another quarterback, I will take another quarterback. Not the best spot to be. The room has kind of punished me. Uh, it's fine. Like I got my double stack guy, and I set up another guy. So I'm actually not like it doesn't feel strong, but it could be worse. Especially when Twitter search function is garbage now, even trying to find clips and quotes. I know, like it I'm new to Twitter. Like I set up a Twitter account years ago, but I don't get into that kind of stuff that much. Um I've started it is very useful, but me maneuvering it is not a strong suit, I will admit. All right, let's look and see what Aaron Sandy's been doing since since the Kyler Murray pick. He took Pacheco, stacked up with Mahomes and Xavier Worthy. I do need to start taking some more Pacheco. I've been completely out on him. He got his 3rd quarterback stack there. That's nice. I believe he had Puka. Yep. But I still don't love the pick, but and I'm still fairly possible or fairly sure that they are going to draft somebody. Or I mean, if the Brees Hall trade stuff is true, I believe that Brett Veach will be on the phone trying to get him. Uh, Keenan Allen could be an absolute value for sure. I'm not brave enough to take a whole lot of them. All these running backs going. This is going to be ugly when it gets back to me for sure. This is probably not one of my better teams, but it is. I went one more zero RB than I have before, or than I have been this year. So it might just not feel as good because it's not something I'm used to doing right now. Last year I went zero RB a little more often. I'm done with big board now, but also ended up pretty low on Keenan, maybe not even 5%. I think I'm at like 2. I still believe Keenan on the if he doesn't play for the Bears or the Chargers that he's going to retire. I remember he said that was something early in the like very early in the process. Or I never seen the quote from him, but I seen it from somewhere. I can't remember where I seen it. And that stuck with me because I felt like that I just I didn't feel like that was a thing that might happen as much, or that was very likely to happen. I would love to get Dowdle here. Dowdle or White. I think Rashad White is such a good pick. He's got a role for sure. And it's actually a divisional correlation with Bryce Young. We'll take we'll go ahead and take Rashad White there. And then on the way back around, take a player I don't get myself to very often, who I want more of, and that's Tyler Algier. All right, so right now, quarterbacks, J.J. McCarthy, Bryce Young. Running backs, James Conner, Cam Scatabo, Brian Robinson, Rashad White, Tyler Algier. Wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Jordan Addison, Matthew Golden, Adam Thielen. I will be done. And tight end, Jonnu Smith. Pacheco was injured a lot last year. I just want to see him healthy, and he's a 10th round pick this year when he was a 4th round pick last year. Yeah. And part of the reason I'm out on him so heavily this year is because I was in on him really heavy last year, and it burnt me. It's probably not the best strategy, but I just know how Brett Veach works, and he invested a 7th round pick on him, and they tend to get rid of older players unless it's. I mean, the reason they have Kareem Hunt is because he's basically free. If Andy Reid comes out and says Pacheco is our guy, he's going to go around. No, he's going to go higher than that. Everybody also overvalues Kansas City's offense. It's not been the same since Bieniemy left. Off the schneid, what's up? Once I'm probably going to run a second draft, and when I'm done, I believe Off the Schneid is going live at 6 p.m. Central. Hey, what's going on, Steve? Welcome. I think this is the first time I've seen you here. Is that you in the 11 hole? Am I wrong? Oh, that's Stroop. Never mind. I can't remember what your login is. Bucks one of the few teams extremely unlikely to draft a running back. Absolutely. That is one reason I'm very in on Rashad White. Steve-O speak. I'll have to add that afterwards. I have a sticky note. Earlier I was talking about writing people's names down that sniped you so you can get them back later. But I don't have that, but I do have a list of all the people in the chats and what their usernames are, so I can kind of remember. I don't know who that is then. I've seen them in a ton of my drafts, though. Agree with what others have said. Oh, thank you, Meat Gazer. I appreciate it. Oh, Albatross. I know nothing about that. I wish I did because that overlay looks very enticing. I'm probably my second draft today is probably going to be DK, and DK is a nightmare to stream. All the running backs are going. I'm glad I have the ones I do. It does feel kind of weak. Connor, Scatabo, Robinson, Rashad White, Algier. I'll probably tack on with Martinez gone. I will probably just tack on a couple late round dart throws and try to shore up my my tight end room, being only Jonnu Smith here. Yeah, DK is wild. I was in a DK draft earlier today with Omega King, and it was the first DK room I've been in to where like every single person drafted soundly. Like nobody took unstacked people. Everybody took ADPs that seemed reasonable. It felt really weird. Welcome, Donnie. You're on to Mike Evans again, so thanks. Oh, were you out? Did you watch a previous video of mine and did I change your mind? And if I did, I hope I'm right. You're doing some scramble returns tonight? Yeah, I when it comes to golf, I know that Scotty Scheffler is the number one golfer. That's all I know. That is literally it. That is my entire golf knowledge. All right, so quarterback, really ugly. Tight ends, just as ugly. I think I have to take Jatavian Sanders here. I'm not huge on him, but we'll take him. And then hopefully I get the other player I would like to get here. Jack Besh is a player I take at this spot a lot. And I really like that pick. I'm glad every time somebody takes him and Martinez because I'm so overexposed on them. I think I'm at 49. I'll go ahead and buy the hype that Aaron Rodgers is going to be in Pittsburgh and hope that DK, and I guess it's DK I have, so finish up that stack. Because I don't feel great about JJ and Bryce Young, so I definitely want to bring a third in. Hey, welcome again, Al Boogie. You can't win the season long stuff. The major tourneys is gettable, you think? You got only 25 DKs left? Yeah, I started really late and I've done 6 of them today already. 6 DK drafts. So, yeah, it is. So one good thing about DK is it's a lot easier to get Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels stacks on DK. I've not got a single one on Underdog, and on DK I've got a couple. Um, and it makes me a little less into Terry just because it removes a possible stack later. I think his price is a little rich anyway. It's not a terrible price. It's just a little rich to me. He ran pretty hot on touchdowns last year. He might do it again, but on DK it feels a little more possible to stack those two. And on Underdog, I have plenty of Jaden Daniels with Zach Ertz, plenty of that. So getting more of that like isn't like not necessarily what I'm shooting for. Oh, you're slow drafts. Man, I can't do that. I I don't have the patience. I the slow draft thing. I think I did like 7 or 8 of them last year all at once to finish up the MMG tournament because I wanted to make sure to max that tournament last year, and I did not have a good time with it. Like I think my drafts turned out okay, but I just didn't enjoy it myself. I do think that there is an advantage to doing it in time box tournaments, to doing slows at the end. So I might end up doing some this year purely because of that, but that doesn't mean I have to enjoy it. The DK experience is frustrating, so you're doing yours mostly slow. Okay, yeah, I'm mostly just ripping everyone I can when I can. Yeah, and like the people who do it the entire summer, they are stronger men than me, or people, stronger people than me. Elijah Mitchell is another player I can't get behind. Like I'm pretty I'm gonna feel bad about a couple of my takes though if Kansas City doesn't add a running back in the draft. Uh, I have 0% Mitchell and like one single share of Pacheco, and I think 2 shares of Kareem Hunt over my 400 drafts. It isn't for everybody. We probably do about 70% of your draft slow. I, if my biggest problem with doing slow drafts is so I work weekends, but I work 3 12s and I work an hour away. So I have to make sure at every break, and I only get a break once every 4 hours. So in a 20-minute break, I have to go in and make sure I'm not going to miss picks. So I basically don't get a break if I'm doing slow drafts in that process. And I work with like machines and stuff, so I can't really be on my phone while I'm operating stuff. So it makes it a pain for me. All right. Now, time to get tight end three. Maybe running back. I don't know. Maybe I take one of these rookie running backs. I haven't taken LeQuint Allen in a while. This does feel like a team. So somebody asked about Jordan James earlier. I have 6% Jordan James. And it does feel like he could end up going late round 3, early round 4. I'm going to go ahead and buy in that LeQuint Allen will find his way onto the field because of how good of a pass blocker he is. Starting to hear a little more buzz about him actually being relevant. So my tight ends are an absolute mess here. Jonnu, Jatavian Sanders. Think I want to take some rookie upside is no, he went already. This felt like a good team for Harold Fannin. I missed him go earlier. I'll take a Mason Taylor share. I like Taylor slightly more than Arroyo. I'm starting to like Terrence Ferguson and Arroyo the same. Shout out off the schneid. He's been on Terrence Ferguson for a while. Harold Fannin actually went at 199. That's a little earlier than he goes most of the time now. Should my last pick be a tight end? Let's look at my roster real quick. Get your guys' thought if it should be a 7th running back or a 4th tight end. Quarterbacks: McCarthy, Bryce Young, Aaron Rodgers. Running backs: James Conner, Cam Scatabo, Brian Robinson, Rashad White, Algier, LeQuint Allen. Wide receivers: Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Addison, Golden, Thielen. Tight end: Jonnu, Sanders, and Mason Taylor. That is a C4 cherry popsicle. I like about 7 of the flavors. I have a little mini fridge like 2 feet from me. I I agree that that was the original plan. And sorry about not scrolling down here. Um, those tight ends do feel gross, but it is a lot easier to get away with a gross tight end room than a fairly weak running back room. Like I don't hate this running back room, but an extra depth piece to me also feels right. Yeah, if yeah, the Tyreek stuff already dropped apparently. I think that I got told that right after I took Janu. Not that it matters. Like Janu's still a fine pick, and that offensive line is an absolute mess. They lost Teron Armstead, so with with Armstead being gone, I think that they almost have to go offensive line, but they have needs everywhere. So, and if they don't improve the offensive line, like they're going to have to run the same style of game they did last year, and Achan and Janu should be fairly good picks. We have a lot of good RB second backs. You might only have two starters, and that is counting. Oh yeah, I definitely went very thin. You wish DK had opened earlier. They mostly copied underdog rankings, so rushes on underdog. Yeah, I think they waited until the combine to post their tournament. And I bet if they do it again next year, they're going to post it before the combine because they're going to have to eat this overlay. Okay. Good to know. Steve advanced. Like you get what? You finished what? Fourth? Was it fourth in the big board last year? I can't remember exactly what your number was, but he had a really high finish in the big board. Fourth in the big board. Yep. That is awesome. Love to see anyone in the community doing well. All of these running backs going off. Is anybody else into Sean Tucker a little bit? I've taken a few shares of him. Um, I don't necessarily love it, but I think he's fine to mix in these last rounds. Let's look at the running backs here. I don't like they messed up the sizing on this tool and it is starting to drive me nuts. I might go with Trevor Etienne. Although Kendre Miller with the last pick feels okay too. But I think I actually want to gamble on one of these rookies. And I think it's going to be Trevor Etienne. All right. Well, I just read off the entire team minus Trevor Etienne, so we won't put you guys through that again. If Aaron Sandy wants a review, yell at me. I'll do that real quick. If not, I will enter the DK draft. I will go to that site now. Hey, thank you. Man, the browser on DK is so awful. All right. What are you cooking tonight? All right, entering DK now. What? This could be a full room. I'm the first one in this room. So if you would like to draft DK, you are welcome to join. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure we all have some absolute monsters on DK. I got Drake May at 146 2 days ago. Like I was at 122. I was in the 2 hole and he jumped. Like I wanted to take him, but I took Jordan Love and then around the corner took Tucker Craft because I got boxed out of stacks. And I really wanted to take Drake May instead of doing that. And then he just fell 20 some picks to 146 or whatever it is. Pretty sure you've seen your team before, but I forget where. Steve is part of the what? Why am I blanking? The Fanspeak Network. If you are not subscribed to the Fanspeak Network, Steve is part of that group. Him and his sister every, I believe, Thursday night do Sibling Showdown, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it took a second. Like the gears weren't turning as fast as they do sometimes. Like I got stuck just a little bit. A rope of deer sausage thawed out for tonight. Nice. If it's not raining whenever I'm done with this draft, I'm going to fire up the old grill and cook those ribeyes I was talking about, or at least half of them. And thank you for joining. Hopefully, yeah, DK also takes a little bit longer to fill. Um, and I've randomly been running into like sacrilegious in a bunch of these drafts in the evenings. Yeah, so here pretty soon I'm working on setting up a Discord, just a free Discord, just to chat and hang out. Uh, and the way I'm gonna set it up is the top half of it is gonna be like my channel and stuff, and then the bottom half is gonna be just anybody who has their own channels. Like if the Fanspeak Network wanted, like they can post all their stuff there as well, and try to make like a hub for fantasy football content that is just through Discord. So if somebody's going live, they can post there as well if they choose to. Uh, just to kind of try to get a centralized point for a bunch of YouTube watchers instead of everybody joining like multiple channels or having to have multiple channels. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know if that'd be easier or if people would be interested in that, but I'm at least going to offer that. This is about, I don't know, it might be like, yeah, I have like 13 Discords all for these streams that I watch. And I think it'd be nice to have a place to where everyone could just have one channel and everyone post there, you know. Hopefully nobody, I'm sure people will get angry at some point at things, you know, but that's not going to be allowed. Because it should be a community, right? Like that's the way that's why I wanted to start streaming, is because everybody that does stream, like almost everyone, seem awesome. So the community's great, and I just kind of want to help out when I can. All right, let's look through some stats since we're waiting here. I don't know what, name a player and we'll go over, somebody name one player and we'll go over a little bit of their profile of what they did last year and talk about whatever on them. A red, yeah. That would also be awesome. A red zone for best ball drafts. Yeah. If they could figure out how to like mix in the sound or the like be able to pick your sound. Cavante Turpin versus Jalen Naylor. I mean, if we look at last year, Zay Flowers, I actually did a video on Zay Flowers the other day, and I'm actually out on him myself. And if you want, like, the beginning of that video is actually Monday's video, is why I'm kind of out on him at ADP. Uh, so let's check the DraftKings, see where we're at. So still at 9 people. The first one was Turpin versus Jalen Naylor. All right. So Turpin didn't have a whole lot of. Well, he definitely didn't have anything in the running back column. So last year, I mean, he actually did more than I thought he did. He had 48 targets, 31 receptions, 420 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 1 spike week, 5 usable weeks. He had 4 drops. So that's actually pretty solid. And I don't know. That doesn't feel right. I was on the wrong thing, actually. He only had 1 usable week. I don't think that this is not adding in that return touchdown week. I don't think. Um, I am not. So that's a good question. I am not 100% sure on this. This is Spike Week. It's whatever their stat said. I just copied manually all of their stuff over. And I believe the numbers are Nuclear Week 25, Spike 17, and Usable 12 in half point PPR. Based on looking at different profiles, that's what I think those numbers are. I've looked on the site. I can't personally find it. So, those are that's a top 20 finish, or top 10, and that's top 20 finish. And then Jalen Naylor had several touchdowns last year. So Jalen Naylor, actually right next to Cavante Turpin. So he had 414 yards, 42 targets, 28 receptions, 6 touchdowns, 7 usable weeks, and 1 spike week. So they had the same amount of spike weeks. And those are dud weeks. Weeks they weren't usable. Go ahead, check this. So with that being said, like, that probably means Cavante Turpin is a better pick this year. Yes, he had less touchdowns last year, but Turpin got I think it's $6 million a year this year, and an offense that doesn't have a number 2 right now. Yeah, there you go. That is the exact point I just got to. I was a little late, but I got there. Yeah, I do take a little bit of Jalen Naylor if I have like JJ or Addison or Hawkinson, and and it's a stack with. Yeah, that's generally what you put for usable weeks. 10 points. Okay. Yeah, I was just copying that. I'm not a data monster at all. I did all that manually. It took me a long time. I don't have like I basically taught myself a little bit on how to do some things in spreadsheets this year. Uh because I've always just did physical labor. But yes, like based on this stuff, Turpin is absolutely the better pick over Jalen Naylor unless you have stacking reasons. Just and like there's nothing better than Turpin time, right? Like it's just much more fun to be at the end of the draft and to take Cavante Turpin time. Like he has absolute explosion ability. That's why he got paid. Will Rondell Moore eat into Naylor's work? I honestly forgot that he was even there. All right, we have FK Coolers at the 4 hole. I'm at the 5. Steve's at the 6. Nick Rizza, I think he's I know the name from something. I don't remember what it is. And then Hartman here at the 11 hole. I love the back half of the board. Good luck. Hope Hope some of the people in the middle here take Derrick Henry and Achan like that happens all the time in DK. Only had 2 games of 10 plus. Okay, I was just kind of copying the stuff. Like I can go back and look through it a little bit. Keon Coleman, I'll talk about him real quick as well. Um, I'm I was kind of in on Keon Coleman until they signed Josh Palmer, and the reason I was in on Keon Coleman is he had 4 40-yard receptions last year, and being a deep ball threat like that on an offense that scored, I think, the fourth most points. They were top 5 offense in points last year. Being the deep ball threat for that team is a very good place to be. And like he only converted one of those into touchdowns, but he has that ability. And if you convert a 40-yard touchdown, that's like instantly a startable week, right? So, and he was with year 2 breakout possibilities, all of that stuff. Do I like him as a player? Not necessarily, but I just think that it's a situation that makes him at pick 130 worth it. Uh, what did you miss? I don't know. That was a while back. I don't know. Got a little distracted looking through the file there. The one thing that I dislike about DK is at the one hole, it's nearly impossible to get Joe Burrow back to pick 48. Like I have I think 3 teams that are Chase Burrow teams that it's been sniped on me. We'll go Jahmyr Gibbs, full point PPR. I have Jahmyr Gibbs ranked number 4. I think that it's also, in my opinion, a little better on DK to take early running backs, especially like the Bijan and the Gibbs, because of where some of the like Emeka Ibuka, Matthew Golden, and Luther Burden all go in the mid 7th to 8th round. I have a feeling that in this draft, that is not going to be the case, though. Pretty chalk first. So something I don't understand about DK is DK drafters love Derrick Henry. Like his ADP is 10, and this is a full PPR site. It doesn't make any sense to me why his ADP is higher here. Yeah, he could be the Gabe Davis, but Palmer muddies that. Absolutely. Like that's where I was at on him, and it was mostly because he got a bunch of deep targets. So, and I just think that that's worth a shot at that point. You want Henry, but he's so hard to get in normal DK value. Yeah, I think I have one share. I got a share of Derrick Henry at 15 on DK, and I don't have a lot of Henry even on underdog, but like it was there at 15 on DK, and I was like, well, this is probably the only chance I will ever have. So I went ahead and went for it. He's literally the king. What more do you need to know? I mean, absolute facts, Hartman. Like, should probably. I'm assuming that the people who take Derrick Henry at picks, like I've seen it like all the way up to like pick 7. Those players probably have like a Burger King crown sitting next to their computer. And as soon as they get Derrick Henry, oh, they just put it on and they rule. It's their day now. They own it. Achan, I have rated a little higher on DK, just like McConkey because of PPR reasons. Oh, uh, I'll go ahead and take T Higgins here. Um, yeah, it would be a really good bit, like to have a BK crown over there. Maybe even like a tiara or something, like just some kind of a crown, right? I I love the tiara thing because I upset like a friend of mine and his wife were arguing about how a word was pronounced, and it was crayon, and her whole argument was, well, what do you wear on your head? And I'm like, well, it's crayon, but I say crown. And she said, well, what do you wear on your head? What does a princess wear? I'm like, a tiara, right? Like, so wasn't a fan of the retort, but I thought it was pretty funny, and that's all I cared about. Yeah, I got her good. Yep. Like I got the old death stare, and it actually warmed my heart a little. I felt pretty good about it. JSN, like I'm actually not really into him that much, but he could be a target hog this year, possibly. Like we don't know. I kind of think Cooper Cup is done. Maybe he's not, and if he's not, that they could have a reasonably good offense, assuming they assign a bunch of people. Like at least in the second half of the season, they could draft a few offensive linemen, and they could gel throughout the season and be really good in like the fantasy playoffs. That is a possibility. Uh, but I could see in a PPR format, I do kind of like JSN a little more for sure. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, sacrilegious. I heard him talking in a pod with Karain, and he was talking about, and I absolutely feel the same way. With Josh Allen going here and Lamar going here, like, I don't, like, it feels so good to get Jalen Hurts at the beginning of the fifth. A big marketing miss by Burger King did not incorporate Henry. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Maybe Derrick Henry hates Burger King. Maybe he's a McDonald's fan. Maybe they did reach out. We don't know. Maybe who knows what happened, but I'm going to assume if they offered a whole bunch of money, that Derrick Henry to be like, you're right. I am the king. All right, we got Brian Thomas, Brock Bowers, DJ Moore, Brees Hall. If Brees Hall gets traded, like it's absolutely criminal in a full PPR site if he goes to a team that has a quarterback that's going to throw the ball to him. Like this is absolutely ludicrous. I don't know how likely. I probably put it just me throwing numbers out into the air. I put it at about 10% or so to for him to get traded. Like if I were the Jets, I would absolutely trade him. Like you have a new regime, you're gonna have to sign him next year or pay him or release him. So if you're wanting to build something from the ground up, why not just get a draft pick for him, even if it's worse than his talent, and just build from the ground up with your new regime? Like to me, that makes absolute sense. All right, Hampton goes right before me. Great pick. I'll go ahead and take the team correlation here with Jameson Williams. I I have him and Devonte Smith pretty much the same. Do you think Fields' checkdown rate is anywhere close to his high 2004 rate? 2024 rate? I don't know. Like, it could be. I mean, he did actually do it pretty well last year. And that could have been something that, all of those coaches in Chicago weren't smart enough to figure out to teach him how to do. But maybe he continues doing that. And if he does, Brees or Fields doesn't not throw to running backs, but he doesn't throw as much as some people do because he has the ability to just leave, right? Brees is a favorite for you on DK. Trade upsides for the Bears, Chiefs, Broncos. And man, the Broncos, like, I'm a Chiefs fan. I definitely want Brees on the Chiefs for like a late third, maybe even pick 66. Like, I think I'm fine with it. But on the Broncos, talk about an absolute smash. That would be an absolute smash. And then we would all be mad the entire season because Tyler Bidet would be brought in goal line situations to steal all the touchdowns. Another player I really like on DK is Kamara. I think that is such a good pick. He had 87 receptions last year, I think it was. I don't know. Can I click it from here? He had 89 targets, 68 receptions. And he missed 3 games, I think. I mean, it would absolutely be true. Like, Sean Payton just out there, we're playing checkers, he's playing chess, right? Yeah, he is. I actually have quite a bit of Kamara on underdog, but he goes 10 picks later. And I think that that's actually one of those ADPs that the DK crowd actually has correct. Like, he deserves to be higher on DK than he does on underdog for sure. Let's look at what the people in the chat are doing. We got FK Coolers here. Oh, this is a nightmare. He's got Bijan, Trey McBride, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Smith. He went to try to push Jalen Hurts around. That that's the reason I like Devontae over Jameson just slightly, to try to do that little push. Uh, with Olave, that's a really solid start. Steve, CD Lamb, AJ Brown, divisional correlation, Devontae Adams, Hampton, Sutton, very solid. I'm always a little sad when I don't get Hampton. Ash, Hartman, Genty, McCaffrey, Harrison, Evans, Waddle. Very awesome. Man, Jalen Waddle is an ADP that I totally do not understand on DraftKings. It's like, what, isn't it like 67? Yeah, the 1-2 is interesting. The Saquon Barkley, Josh Allen, James Cook, Jalen Hurts, Joe Mixon. He's trying to get the top, like, what is this? This is close to 60 rushing touchdowns last year. Like, he nailed it. Nailed it. That's all I can say. Did Demont play with Fields? Yes, I believe he did. He missed 3.5 games, and he's a top 10 back. Yep. Fields was able to make DJ more relevant, but no running back. Is that true? Did he? Did Demont not receive the ball? Like, Demont's not really a receiver now either, though. Like, Brees, Brees is absolutely a better receiver than David Montgomery, right? So it could have been that they didn't really have a good pass catching running back, and that's why Fields never really checked down in Chicago. It could just be that all those coaches were not great. Who knows? What if he just alternates forever? Is there a limit on number of quarterback and running backs? I actually do not know. find it interesting that Goddard is dropping on trade speculation, but Devontae hasn't moved up. That's actually a good point. I'm saying the same thing with Braylon Allen. Earlier, I said I don't really get to Laporta very much. I think I'm just gonna go for it so I can get brutally sniped in 2 rounds on Jared Goff unstacked somewhere. Well, I think I'm not gonna recommend this, but I think I forced myself to have to take Jared Goff here at 77, having 3 pass catchers. I think that was a bad pick because it forces me to do that because the Almond drafter will almost definitely take Goff seeing this, right? So for me to get this stack, I have to pull him way up the board. So I made a mistake there by taking Laporta because it's going to force me to overdraft Jared Goff or just ignore my triple stack on the Lions, right? So I'm probably going to have to do that, and I'm not going to like it. Oh, did you? Well, that makes me feel better. At least I'm not the only one to do that and make that like I feel like that's a major mistake, especially whenever I have to give up Calvin Ridley, who I think is severely underrated. Yeah, I'm not going to recommend to do that, but there's no way Jared Goff probably makes it back with him having 2 picks, right? So me taking Laporta there was probably the wrong move. If I only had Gibbs and Laporta, I think it'd be fine because I could just push it and not really worry about it. Or if it was just Gibbs and JMO, that would have been fine. But me taking Laporta almost forces me, in my opinion, to take Goff. So there's a what not to do. And I mean, who knows? Maybe it's what you need. Maybe the Lions are the number one scoring offense again, and they don't miss Ben Johnson. That was, I think, my first or second share of Laporta. I think, and you've seen my Jared Goff exposure was 2%, or is 1% in this tournament. No, it was 2% overall and 1% in, or yeah, 2% in this one because I maxed the $1.20 max. I just set rankings and let it auto just for fun. Forget where I learned this, but data suggests pulling up a QB around is perfectly fine. It is, yeah, it is, and the more correlation you have with that quarterback, the more your team needs that quarterback. So it makes it better, but that doesn't mean you have to like it, you know? Like I don't I definitely don't like it. And I'm sure Alex 1939 here is wondering what am I doing, right? I mean, he probably sees it, but I'm sure I absolutely shocked him by taking Jared Goff at 77. In DK, that's fine, but if you're max drafting, I'm going to try and push. I don't know if I'm going to end up maxing. Like, I just don't know if I'm going to have the time to do it. I'm definitely going to get to like 100 drafts though. Um, I do like, I think that's my goal is to get to 100. If I would like to get close to maxing it. Like, I actually like this tournament structure better than underdogs as well. I don't like the rake. I think the rake's 17% and underdogs is 11%. So, but the overlay, I don't know. how to predict what the overlay is. I don't know if Steve has an idea of how to do that. Um, but me just ballparking it, I could see it being 30% overlay or something. We are, what, 2 weeks away from the draft, and it's only 40% fill. Rake Kings, for sure. Well, I don't seem to get punished as much as I could have been. Uh, I'll take Emeka Egbuka here. That's one reason I like taking. More okay with the heavy running backs here, is because I've done a lot of 3 running backs by round 7 builds on DK because I know I can get Egbuka, and a lot of the times you can get Egbuka and then Burden on the way back around. I don't think FK Coolers is going to allow me to do that though. I mean, maybe he does. He's got 5 wide receivers here, but like that, it's just something that's possible on DK normally. So you can't see it getting much more than 70% filled. 75 is probably the max, but yeah, it could be end up 65. That's what I'm at just by like looking at it. You definitely was. Yeah. I I have, of the rookies, I have Golden, then Egbuka, and then Burden in my ranks. But on DraftKings, I'm actually sitting at 23% Burden because he goes so late. Some people are starting to max and you're 20 plus teams away. Yeah, and there's a lot of people, like, I'm sure some people like Sacrilegious are close to maxing. I've seen Herzig in a couple of rooms earlier in the mornings. Uh, like anybody who's already like 75 plus, like they can't like jam the overlay at the end, right? So, all right, what do I want to do here? He did pass me Luther Burden. I will take it. Thank you. I'm sure that you did what was best for your team, though. Jordan Love, I see what you're doing. Missing the stream, but you threw down a like. We'll rewatch later. Appreciate it, Putt Daddy. Enjoy whatever you're doing today. And Jonnu Smith is another player that on DK should be going a little higher than he does on Underdog, and he does not. Wanted Kyler, but should have known someone to pick him for no reason. I mean, he did get the positive buzz today. He had the one note to where he's going to run more. So here in about a week, he's going to be going up here with Jalen Hurts. Absolutely. Like, he's just going to fly up the board. This guy, you got Lamar Jackson. You know what you need? You need more rushing floor. Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is very hard to backstack too. Like what do you do with Kyler Murray's backstack? I know he actually does rush. Like it's not terrible to have him naked, but I I'm not into Michael Wilson. Yeah. All that's left for him is Michael Wilson. Like I think it's better to just take Kyler Murray on a team that has Egbuka, Burden, or Golden, and just assume they're going to draft somebody. Yeah, did he make your list? You're the one that said that you have the list, your target list next to you. Did uh did he make the list yet, or is it going to take a little bit more? Trey Benson and hope he hits a screen. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's not the worst decision. It's not necessarily a good one. I guess he could take Tip Ryman Tip Ryman's still in the player pool, correct? Michael Wilson, but lots of mock drafts have Cardinals drafting somebody. Yes, they do. And they need to. Like, they absolutely need another wide receiver. I took Jared Goff here. Alex went into panic mode. Look at this. Okay, he didn't really. He's got all of his stuff is stacked. That is not pay. That's a very solid like maybe he wasn't going to take Goff anyway. How dare you, Steve, take the player you were higher on than I am. All right. Do I want I think I need to take a running back here. Uh yeah, I mean, I have a lot of Scatabo, but Steve here, he's a true alpha. Do you do you or your sister have more? Yeah, yeah. Well, it's all fair, right? Everything's fair. This is where I think Jordan Mason's ADP ends up in BBM. I could actually see him moving up, maybe around whenever the news that he's basically going to be their goal line guy. I see him maybe moving up around and Aaron Jones going down around 40% on each side, and she has 45. I knew it was a really high number. I'm about 40%. Like my Martinez is close to that. You know it. That is my style. Absolutely, just nothing but hate all the time, always. First, you thought Mason ADP was too high, but you've slowly warmed up. It might have been too high at first before he got the nod of, hey, we're going to use him in the goal line stuff. Because I was taking him in like round 13. Like I was pulling him all the way up to 13 over and over again, assuming it would go up. Because they don't really have the draft capital either to add somebody on top of this. All right, so I think I need to look over my team real quick. Do I want to just go ahead and take him? Or do I want... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and snag Drake May. I have my big stack there with Jared Goff. Drake May, I can late stack. There's a solid chance that in round 2, if one of these two players make it, Egbuka or Burden, that Drake May ends up having a stack there. There are some reports say that they're going to go in the first. Some say they're going to slip into the early second. I could see either one. And Drake May also has up to 4 people you could argue to stack with. I only really like Demario Douglas and Hunter Henry to stack with Drake May late. I believe that Jalen Polk is completely done. But what do I know? I'm not in that room. They have new coaching staff. Maybe things are different. Talk about a run. Drake May, Dak Prescott, somebody here. They didn't get the memo that we're only drafting quarterbacks. How, Ben, you need to pay more attention to the draft room. JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix, Alex also. I mean, I guess he doesn't. He's the only one that legit doesn't need a quarterback. And then 2 more, Tua and T-Law. This, it got deep. It got deep fast. Talk about a run. It actually, if I move up like this, it looks like one of those rising stock charts in the red. See this just going up? That's what we're doing here. Just the best analysis here. All, the best. That's that's what I'm here for. Cam Ward goes. Hopefully nobody on the right side of the board needed a quarterback because the left side of the board just absolutely destroyed the quarterback market. that this right here makes me feel good about pulling Jared Goff up that round. Uh like I didn't feel good about it until I seen this happen. Whatever this is. Oh, I don't know if Steve was wanting Stafford. All right, we'll sort by ADP. This might actually be a team I'm willing to take Tootin. Oh, that is ugly. Take Tootin on. I only have 3 running backs. I think I go ahead and pull the Tootin trigger. There's a saying, the Tootin trigger. What round is that? Round 12. That's kind of where I think it's okay. Sorry, Hartman. I had to get a second quarterback, and I'm very, very highly exposed to Drake May. And same FK Coolers, but with Aaron Jones, there's a good chance he is the lead back 3 to 6 games a year. I'm taking him here. Spags part due. I guess I don't get the reference. You was considering Stafford, but was okay waiting since you already had Nix and Prescott. Yeah, I wondered. I mean, Nick's Prescott feels fine, right? Like it feels perfectly fine. No reason to worry about it. FK Coolers. He was over there in the right side of the board whenever I said I hope nobody needs a guy. Well, Cooler was over there sweating every time a red dot appeared on the map. Probably had a couple nervous sweats out there. I know I would have if I'd seen that. Don't trust the wild cards near you. No. And Bryce Young, like Jalen Coker, his ADP is like 175 or something on DraftKings. Basically free. And I personally like him just as much as the other guys. Um I don't I just kind of draft with what I feel like. If I feel like the 2 quarterbacks I have are good enough to be by themselves, I don't. I prefer 3 quarterbacks almost always. Um, like 3 quarterbacks just it feels way better and it's a lot better for advance. But on DK, they go a little higher, so it's a little harder to do. Um, but I do tend to take a third pretty often. Like on DK, especially, you seem to get boxed out a little more. Things go a little crazy here and there. And on those teams, you almost have to go 3 quarterbacks, and one of them's almost like one of them's unstacked sometimes. Maybe even 2 of them. Like earlier, I had a team to where I got Adonai Mitchell in round 18 and stacked him with Daniel Jones. It felt as gross as it sounds. I promise you. I won't. Uh, Everything to do with that whole stuff. Like I don't really want anything to do with it. Like I'm here for a good time. All right, we got that was the only other thing I could have done is I could have taken Sam Darnold here over Goddard. Goddard, I feel like, is getting a little bit of disrespect just because of the trade rumors. Um, I do have JSN and Charbonnet, so Darnold would have made some sense for me. But honestly, this team completely falls apart if Jared Goff at 77 isn't a monster, and Drake May should be pretty fine. Don't give away yours. Okay, I'm sorry. I Next time I have an idea, I'll email you and make sure it's something I'm allowed to talk about. Sound good? Um, Isaiah Likely at 160 feels awesome. That feels really, really good. Let's see what we got here by Hartman. Hartman has Genty, McCaffrey, Harrison, Mike Evans, Jalen Waddle, Henderson, Ayuk. Feels really good. Stacked up Baker, stacked up Waddle. Cam Ward has rushing upside, so that's perfectly fine. And he has backstack partners. I probably need a wide receiver. Look who's at the top of my rankings here, Jalen Coker. You see that? You see that, FK Coolers? My top guy is the guy you need. I'm going to go ahead and I don't have much I have 0 Keenan Allen, so we'll add him to this. And no, you're with me. You think Daniel Jones is just as gross as it is. Yeah, it does not feel good to be in a situation to where your quarterbacks are JJ McCarthy and Matt Stafford, and then like you have everybody goes like 2 rounds before, and then nobody wants Daniel Jones, and you're just like, well, Adonai Mitchell's here. I could take Adonai, and well, if Daniel Jones makes it back, I guess I'll click him. That's exactly how it goes for me every time. I do need him after that muggle near me went rogue. I really like Jalen Coker as a late round click here, for sure. I I'm pretty solid at all the positions now. Laporta Goddard feels fine. Like I probably need another adult in my wide receiver room, but I also need some running backs. Hmm. We talked about it before. I'm pretty high on Martinez. I'm okay taking him here. I did take Tootin earlier, so instead of taking Martinez there, I couldn't remember which rookies I had. Uh, but because I have Tootin and it's only my 5th running back, I think I'll go ahead and pass on Martinez. I have a hard time taking Devin Neal, even like I have a little bit of him, and it feels a little better now that he's so late. But in my heart of hearts, I still have Martinez ranked above Devin Neal. Jalen Knowles, just a great pick. More and more people are coming out saying they have him as a top 3 to 5 wide receiver. Listened to the Fantasy Points podcast last night, and Brett said that I think he has Jalen Knowles as his number 3, and Jaden Higgins is the number 5 wide receiver. And he's had a really good hit rate as of late on wide receivers. So makes me feel pretty good about him. I have between 15 and 20% on all 3 websites. It's kind of hard not to like these late wide receivers that are rookies that have possible upside. See what else we have going on. Oh, you got DJ. You snagged DJ Giddens. See, I let you have Jalen Coker, and this is the thanks I get. I see how it is. I see how it is. All right. Steve here has just an absolute solid team. CD Lamb, AJ Brown, Devontae Adams, Omarion Hampton, Cortland Sutton, David Montgomery, Travis Hunter. So Travis Hunter at 78, it feels a little gross, but I still think it's the right call. Bo Nix, Jonnu Smith, Cam Scatterbo, Dak Prescott, both stacked with their number one pass catcher. Adam Thielen, who's 10 picks past ADP on DK, but 10 picks before ADP on Underdog. Jerome Ford, James, or is it James Ferguson? Yeah, Ferguson and Devin Neal. Very solid team. A Rich at 186. Awesome value. Third quarterback, Derek Carr there. Take Hunter Henry. Get my stack. Dallas Goedert, Sam Laporta, and Hunter Henry. That feels really good. I feel really good about my running back room, having Jahmyr Gibbs, Kamara, Charbonnet, Tootin, and Algier. I have two guys who I believe are bell cows. So I can be a little weaker at the bottom end. Algier, who I'm not actually big on Algier. I've went over that a few times. He pretty much doesn't get the ball at all anymore unless Bijan gets hurt. But if Bijan's hurt, he's one of the best contingent values on the board, right? But the workload that Bijan got in the back half of the season last year shows that he is going to be an actual bell cow this year, in my opinion. And I think it's also Algier's last year on the rookie deal. I think that's right. Because this is Bijan's third year, and they drafted Algier the year before. So, yeah, that would be his fourth year. So, this would be his last year on that rookie deal. Okay, yeah. So, and I wouldn't be shocked. And actually, Bijan has 2 more years, this year and the next year, because Bijan was a first round pick, so they get the 5th year option. So next offseason, we're going to see how much money they pay Bijan Robinson. After the Saquon Barkley contract, I feel like it's going to be a pretty reasonable number. Like a very reasonable number. Setting up the Daniel Jones stack here in the 3-hole. I need another adult in my wide receiver room. Do I go... What running backs are left? None of them? I mean, I guess Hunt's not the worst pick. I don't like it at all. But I wanted another having Burden and Egbuka, and then not knowing if Keenan's going to actually be on a team. I definitely needed at least one more guy who's going to get some points. By ranks, Kyle Williams is absolutely the better pick to me. What do you think about AD Mitchell? I'm in for his upside, but Indy's offense scares you. He was open last year, right? But he didn't do much with being open. And I mean, how much of that is their quarterbacks? How much is that like I don't know. Like Josh Downs is such a good wide receiver. Michael Pittman is very good at what he does. Alec Pierce is very good at what he does also. And he does the same things that Adonai Mitchell, I think they drafted Adonai to do. Um, and it's not like it's a passing volume offense, right? So all of those players to me are hard to click. Now, if Danny Dimes gets the job and actually throws the ball a bunch, or if A. Rich figures out how to not be, what was it, like 49% accuracy? It was something insane. Like, he figures out how to be better, and the offense becomes a passing attack, which, you know, they still have Jonathan Taylor to run the ball. Like, it's going to be hard for all four of them to eat, right? Somebody's going to get left out. Um, I mean, it could be Pittman, it could be Pierce, and it could be Mitchell. I think you kind of just have to either take shots on all of them or pick one to not take a shot on. I think Downs is the one that has like a guaranteed he's going to play attached to him. That's just my opinion on it. All right, we'll look at running backs, see if anything in here is something I like. I think I go ahead and just add Will Shipley to this. I like the contention upside. It is very possible that they draft somebody this year. Hartman is full fading Pittman. I'm not full fading him. I think I got like 3%, something like that, across all. Mostly because if the weeks A Rich does play, like he doesn't have touch on the ball. If he can figure out how to have touch on the ball, Pittman will be worth the pick he's at now. But without touch on the ball, like all of Pittman's routes aren't going to be near as good. Like I've mentioned it before, but there was a video week 1 after week 1 of the NFL season this last year. It was every throw Anthony Richardson made, and it's just like him going back and throwing it nearly as hard as he could every single pass, no matter how close they were, all of that. And it was quite humorous. If you haven't watched it, you should probably watch it. And like, that is something that if he could start tethering his throw, like throwing it that hard every time is number one going to make you inaccurate just because you're throwing it hard. If you're putting too much force into it, right? But I'm not a quarterbacks coach, so that's up for Josh Allen's old quarterback coach to teach him. And I mean, Josh Allen was closer to being good whenever that coach got a hold of him, but he did fix Josh Allen, so there's that. There is hope. All right, we got, what do we got here? I think I'll just take a share of Troy Franklin, another guy who should at least have some kind of a role. Uh, the uncertainty of Allen with the two rookies, I feel like I needed to not have another rookie here. Maybe that's the wrong call. Maybe not. So I have a 2-6-8-3 going. Probably add a ninth wide receiver. I was fading Pittman at the start, but he's fell to an area where you take him. Yeah, he he's going what, the 10th round now. He's actually started to fall down to where not Darnell Mooney, where Marvin Mims was at the beginning of the cycle. Like, he doesn't go over here most of the time now. It's usually on this other side of the board. And it does feel a little better over here. But like, that's where I mix him in at like 3 to 5%. Beginning, I agree. It didn't feel good at all. Like, I think he was going before Rashid Shaheed and Darnell Mooney, and I'm going to take those two over him almost every time. You're at 4%. Yeah, that feels about right at his ADP. For anybody who didn't know, OTS off the schneid started streaming at 6. This draft is about over. If you would like to go ahead and head over there, I think you should. He always puts on a really good show. It's he always has takes, and it's always a lot of fun. Oh, you're not live for 2 hours? I thought it was. Is Best Ball Guy live now? Is that? I seen some. Yeah, that's right. Best Ball Guy's going live now, and Off the Schneid is in 2 more hours. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, go follow or go watch Best Ball Guy. Sorry about that, Cody. I didn't mean to say that way. I was confused because isn't Best Ball Guy going to be on your show tonight? It's on. Uh, I think Best Ball Guy was saying he was going to be on your show, and wherever he posted that he was going live at 6, I thought that was the same thing. So that is definitely on me. And maybe I have the days wrong. Okay. Yeah, so that'll be a really good show. They both have like completely different takes on players. It should be a lot of fun. So somebody who's rarely drafted on this site is Tez Johnson. I do like to throw him in here and there. I'm not saying it's a smart thing, but I think I'm actually going to take my first Jalen Polk share. I know I said earlier that I'm pretty out on him, but it's the last round. It's a new coaching staff. Crazier things have happened. Anyway, if anybody would like me to go over their team, say something in chat. You have a bag of Tez on Underdog. That's probably not the best, to be honest. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Having 4 people that were trustworthy in this draft made this draft feel a lot better, honestly, like knowing that at least a third of the draft was not going to do crazy things felt great. So anyway, I guess DK is gonna kick us out. Generally happy with your draft. Definitely a couple surprise picks out there. Yeah, it was better than a normal DK experience on the surprises, but for the most part, like the big surprise was how red this corner got. But anyway, thanks to everybody for showing up. I appreciate it. I'll be live again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central. Thanks, Hartman. Fun stream. I'm really liking going over a player thing at the beginning of the stream you've been doing. Oh, I appreciate it. I wanted to try to do something a little different than other people. And since I don't have an intro, it's my way to let people slide in as I'm going live. And if they want to get in a draft with me, they can. But, yep. See everybody later. Take care. Peace.